Hey there, everybody. I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. So, after blogging Hello Dolly last episode, why don't we take a look at another stage musical, Hairspray. What started as a 1988 comedy film directed by John Waters soon became a musical hit in 2002 by Mark O'Donnell and Thomas Meehan, with songs by Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman. The show takes place in 1962, Baltimore, Maryland, where a plump teenager named Tracy Turnblad dreams about dancing on the Cornea Collins show, a local TV dance program based on real-life Buddy Dean show. When Tracy wins a role on the show, she becomes a celebrity overnight, leading to social change as Tracy campaigns for the show's integration. Now, despite the fact that I never seen it on stage yet, I was first introduced to the show from my drama classes at school, and by listening to the soundtrack, it's really amazing. I mean, it captures the feel of the 1960s dance music and downtown rhythm and blues. But it wasn't until summer 2007 where I finally saw a musical film version of this beloved stage hit. So, let's get started, folks. Released on July 20th, 2007, the movie is Hairspray. In 1960s Baltimore, dance-loving teenager Tracy Turnblad auditions for a spot on the Cornea Collins show and wins. She becomes an overnight celebrity, a trendsetter in dance, fun, and fashion. Perhaps her new status as a teen sensation is enough to topple Cornea's reigning dance queen and bring racial integration to the show. So, what do I think? Well, after seeing it in theaters with my mom and sister, I loved it. This has truly got to be one of my favorite movie musicals ever. But to further explain why I love this movie, let's move on to Mustang Notes. The film was directed and choreographed by Adam Shankman, who would later direct Rock of Ages. And I hear that he might be directing the Enchanted sequel, Disenchanted. The film began development in 2004, and Leslie Dixon reworked Meehan and O'Donnell's first draft of the screenplay to tone down the musical campiness. In 2005, Shankman agreed to direct the movie. Composer/lyricist Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman reworked their songs from the Broadway musical for the film's soundtrack, and they also wrote 4 new songs for the film. Principal photography commenced in September 2006 with a budget of $75 million and ended in December of that year. Filming took place on locations in Toronto and Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and on sound stages at Toronto's Showline Studios. Recording sessions for the film's songs and soundtrack took place in San Diego, California, in the United States. What I like about this movie is how it captures Baltimore, Maryland during the early 60s. Speaking of which, when I was studying this era during my history of rock and roll class during my final college semester, I learned that the 60s was a time known as the hippie era and the British invasion. But at the same time, it was also an era where adults felt that rock and roll was, well, from Tartarus, and there was a lot of racism and weightism, and also other people were hoping for integration and a bright future. By the way, in case you're wondering, I support everybody, no matter what race they are. Also, some of my favorite songs in this movie include the opening song, Good Morning Baltimore, when Tracy heads off to school, the Cornea Collins theme song, The Nicest Kids in Town, the first version of Big, Blonde, and Beautiful, sung by Motormouth Maybelle, the love song, Without Love, the title song, It's Hairspray, and the finale song, You Can't Stop the Beat. Also, there are a few other songs I want to talk about. For example, there's the villain song, The Legend of Miss Baltimore Crabs, which is sung by Velma von Tussle during the audition scene. In my opinion, this song is not my favorite, due to Velma reminiscing about the time when she was a beauty queen. Seriously, you can't run a TV show in high heels. And I didn't like the part where she and Amber were saying bad things about the people who were trying out, and when she rejected Tracy for her size and for supporting integration. Then there's I Can Hear the Bells, which is a fantasy song where Tracy dreams about a happy life with Link. Then there's Lady's Choice, sung by Link Larkin at a record hop, where Tracy does some cool dance moves to gain Cornea Collins' attention and become a new council member on his TV show. Next is Welcome to the 60s, sung by Tracy and Edna while they walk through Baltimore to Mr. Pinky's hefty hideaway. What I love about this song is that it really captures the feel of what the 60s was like. And I also love the lights, rhythm, and sound. Also, during the song, not only do the Dynamites join in, but also Mr. Pinky, played by the late Jerry Stiller, asks Tracy to become his spokesgirl, and her mom, Edna, becomes Tracy's agent. Next we have Run and Tell That, sung by Seaweed, while he takes Tracy, Link, and Penny to a party at his mom's record store. I really love this song, due to it being so optimistic and catchy that I just can't help but sing along. Plus, the choreography in this song is just awesome. My favorite parts of this song is when Seaweed introduces his little sister, Inez, played by Taylor Perks, and when they dance on a school bus. And I don't know about you guys, but for some reason, that part kind of made me think of a music video from Sesame Street, but I can't remember which one, though. Maybe it could be that 40 Blocks song, but whatever. And finally, there's I Know Where I've Been, sung by Motormouth Maybelle, while she and Tracy do a protest march on WYZT. Now, in my personal opinion, not only is this song emotional and powerful, but is also the most political song in the entire show. And, while I'm not really the biggest fan of these kind of things, this is the kind of protest that I like. A peaceful walk with a powerful song. And I think it's a better protest than most of the ones that have been going on lately, due to the police brutality and George Floyd's recent death. You know, ever since these protests have been happening lately, I've been listening to this song, along with Glory from Selma, non-stop, in hopes that we can live in an equal world with no racism. Also to note, this film features instrumental versions of Mama, I'm a Big Girl Now and Cooties. And now, let's move on to the cast. Our main lead, Tracy Turnblad, is played by then newcomer Nikki Blonsky, who would later be cast in Queen Sized. As for her acting, I think Nikki did great for her first role, playing an optimistic, overweight teenage girl who loves dancing. And I just love Tracy's racial acceptance, which leads her to become an active supporter for the integration on the Cornea Collins show. Tracy's mom, Edna Turnblad, is played by John Travolta, best known from Saturday Night Fever, Grease, Bolt, and Wild Hogs. Now, Edna is a laundry business owner who is agoraphobic and ashamed of her obesity. At first, Edna believes that dancing is not Tracy's future. But after Tracy is cast on Corney's TV show, Edna becomes a great supporting character. And I just love the part where Edna becomes Tracy's agent, and the part where Edna catches Velma on camera during the finale, which leads to Velma getting fired. Speaking of which, Nix becomes the villain of the show and the manager of WYZT, Velma Von Tussle, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. Best known from Tim Burton's Dark Shadows, The Prince of Egypt, Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, and Ant-Man and the Wasp. You know, I really hate Velma for being a racist and a sizist woman. And why is Velma like this? Well, it's because she is interested in keeping her daughter Amber in the spotlight and keeping the Cornea Collins show segregated. Because, according to her villain song, Velma used to be a beauty queen called Miss Baltimore Crabs during the 1930s. So, in other words, she just wants to keep her reputation. You know, now that I think about it, I'd rather call her Miss Baltimore Craps. Anyway, I didn't like the part where she flirted with Tracy's dad, got the police on her side, and when she cheated during Miss Teenage Hairspray by switching the tallies. Tracy's best friend, Penny Lou Pingleton, is played by Amanda Bynes, whom I've talked about in my blog of Blue Skies Robots. Penny is a sheltered girl who falls in love with Seaweed, despite the efforts of her racist, religious, and stern mom, who I'll get to later. Anyway, in my opinion, I think Penny is a really nice friend, and I don't know about you guys, but I think Amanda Bynes' singing is absolutely amazing, and I think she's cute when she puts a lollipop in her mouth. Tracy's dad, Wilbur Turnblad, is played by Christopher Walken, best known from Mouse Hunt, The Country Bears, Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, and The Jungle Book from 2016. Now, Wilbur is an easygoing proprietor of the Hardy Har Hut joke shop below the Turnblad family apartment. In my opinion, Wilbur is optimistic and humorous, and I like that he encourages Tracy to pursue her dreams. One of my favorite parts in the movie is when Wilbur improvises a bed out of whoopee cushions, and when he disguises himself as Tracy during the Miss Teenage Hairspray pageant. Next we have Motormouth Maybelle Stubbs, played by the wonderful Queen Latifah, best known from Chicago, Miracles from Heaven, and the horrible Ice Age sequels. Now, Maybelle is a Baltimore rhythm and blues radio DJ who hosts Negro Day on the Cornea Collins show. She also runs a record shop on North Avenue. I want to consider Motormouth Maybelle as one of my favorite characters in the film. Not just for her DJ personality, but I also like when she convinces Edna that being beautiful isn't necessarily about being thin. Next we have Cornea Collins, the host of the Cornea Collins TV show, played by James Marsden, who got to be in Disney's Enchanted, Illumination's Hop, and the recent Sonic the Hedgehog. Fun fact, as I said earlier, Cornea Collins is based on Baltimore TV personality Buddy Deans, who hosted an eponymous local teen dance show in the late 1950s and early 60s. I really like Cornea. While he's not in too much of the movie, I like that his political, progressive attitudes leads him to fight his show's imposed segregation. Next is Velma's bratty daughter, Amber Von Tussle, played by Brittany Snow. Best known from John Tucker Must Die, Whisper of the Heart, the Pitch Perfect trilogy, 2008's Prom Night, and she voiced Naminé in Kingdom Hearts 2. Now, Amber is the lead female dancer on the Cornea Collins show, and she's also Link Larkin's ex-girlfriend. She becomes Tracy's enemy and rival when Tracy threatens both Amber's chances of winning Miss Teenage Hairspray and Amber's relationship with Link. Although she is very mean, Amber is not as racist or cruel as her mom, and she has shown interest in black music and a handsome African-American dancer at the end of the movie. In the end, Amber undergoes a change of heart, and she accepts her defeat to Tracy before joining in the dance, much to Velma's irritation. Next we come to Link Larkin, the lead male dancer on the Cornea Collins show and Tracy's love interest, played by Zac Efron, best known from Disney's High School Musical, Illumination's The Lorax, The Greatest Showman, and the recent Scoob movie. Fun fact, Link Larkin is based in part upon Elvis Presley, which I didn't realize that until recently. Anyway, in my opinion, Link is a great character, and Zac Efron's singing is absolutely outstanding. Plus, I like the part when Link recommends Tracy to go to the record hop, when he joins Tracy in detention, and when he dances with Tracy and Little Inez during the Miss Teenage Hairspray pageant. Next we have Seaweed Jay Stubbs, played by Elijah Kelly, who would later voice in George Lucas's Strange Magic. Seaweed is a skilled dancer who teaches Tracy some cool dance moves during detention and falls in love with her best friend Penny. To me, Seaweed is shown to be a kind and friendly person who is quick to become pals with. Plus, his love for Penny knows no boundaries, especially when he goes to save her from her mom. Also, I think Seaweed's sister, Little Inez, is a remarkable dancer, and if she didn't become Miss Hairspray, the show would never be integrated. Finally, we have Penny's mom, Prudence Pingleton, played by Allison Janney, who got to be real pain-in-the-butt characters in films like Over the Hedge, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, and last year's Addams Family. Prudy is another character who I hate. And why? Because she's a Christian fundamentalist. Plus, Prudy's strict parenting keeps Penny from experiencing social life. Also, Prudy's husband is serving a prison sentence for an unspecified crime. But thankfully, after having tied up her daughter to her bed, Prudy is horrified to see that her daughter has broken out and is on TV kissing Seaweed. And now let's move on to my final words. Overall, Hairspray is such an awesome movie musical. I really love how this movie represents the early 60s and how it speaks to integration. Plus, the energy in this movie is absolutely spot on. Most of the songs are fun to listen to, while the others can be very serious and emotional. The choreography is fantastic. The characters are all memorable, even though 3 of them were dislikable, and the casting is absolutely spectacular. Well, it may be impossible for my friends at Musical Theater Village to perform this show due to the amount of cast members. I just hope that someday that I can see Hairspray on stage. But until that happens, I highly recommend you viewers to watch this movie. And trust me, you'll all have a fun time watching it. I give this film a full 100%. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me on Father's Day, where I look at a very special movie from the mid-90s starring one of Disney's famous and hilarious characters, Mustang Power.